Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Plans to legalise gay marriage in Scotland will be voted on for the final time next month. Tuesday the 4th of February is the date set for the Scottish Parliament to decide whether the Marriage and Civil Partnership Scotland Bill will become law. Just last month, a committee of MSPs considering the bill voted against protections for public sector workers, charities and those considering adoption. Campaign group Scotland for Marriage, who support traditional marriage, says the proposed legislation lacks safeguards for those who disagree with it and fails to protect freedom of speech. A previous vote in November on the general principles of the bill was carried by 98 votes to 15 in favour of the proposals. Christian bakers Aaron and Melissa Klein have been told by state officials in America that they acted unlawfully when they declined to bake a wedding cake celebrating a homosexual union. Mr. and Mrs. Klein say making the cake for the couple would have violated their Christian beliefs, and they were simply exercising their constitutional right to religious freedom. But the Oregon Bureau of Labour and Industries, who investigated the case, said the bakery is not a religious institution under law, and that the business policy of refusing to make same-sex wedding cakes represents unlawful discrimination based on sexual orientation. Following the original incident, the Kleins received hate mail and death threats and were forced to close their shop, Sweet Cakes, due to a fall in custom. Same-sex marriage is unlawful in Oregon, and a constitutional amendment voted on in 2004 defined marriage in the state as between a man and a woman. Herbert Gray, lawyer for the Kleins, said his clients are therefore being punished by the state of Oregon for refusing to participate in an event that the state of Oregon does not recognise. The Church of England's General Synod is to debate whether the new Girl Guide's promise, which removes reference to God, discriminates against Christians. Alison Ruoff has tabled a motion on the issue because she says young girls and leaders are having to choose between their faith and girl guiding. The organisation introduced the new secular promise last September, replacing "to love my God" with "to be true to myself and develop my beliefs." The first major change to the pledge in the movement's 103-year history. Mrs. Ruoff says it cannot be right for guide units which meet in church premises to be banned from being able to say "I love my God" in the promise, adding that this is a serious gospel issue. She continued, "The Scout movement has retained their old promise to love God, as well as having a secular promise. Why, therefore, should the guiding movement not be allowed to have choice? It is rank discrimination against the girls of this wonderful youth movement." President Obama has said he views smoking cannabis as a bad habit and a vice, but not very different from cigarettes. The president, who used cannabis himself when he was younger, added that although he wouldn't encourage the practice, he thinks that in terms of its impact on the individual consumer, the drug is no more dangerous than alcohol. But the comments have been widely criticised, with Times columnist Robert Crampton describing them as profoundly wrong. Mr. Crampton warns that over the years the drug has become much more potent and is now capable of inflicting grave mental instability. Lowell Monkhouse, founder of the Kusnack practice in Switzerland, which provides addiction therapy, says cannabis addiction is the hardest to break and is also capable of causing the most profound and least reversible neurological damage, adding that it could inflict such damage quickly in the brains of young and otherwise healthy people. Around 40,000 people took to the streets of Paris last weekend to protest against controversial proposals to weaken France's abortion laws. The National Assembly has already begun debating the issue, which includes changes that would allow women to terminate a pregnancy without proving they are in distress. Former Prime Minister François Fillon has described the proposed changes as a moral and political fault. It is a moral fault as it risks trivialising abortion, and it is a political fault as it risks once again dividing the French. Some of those at the March for Life carried Spanish flags in support of Spain's decision last month to toughen up their country's abortion laws by only allowing terminations when the mother's life is in danger or when the pregnancy is a result of rape. The Bible Society is to launch a new initiative to urge parents to read, listen or to watch Bible stories with their children. The scheme, called Pass It On, comes amidst a recent rise in TV and film adaptations of biblical stories. The Society's chief executive, James Catford, said the campaign is about the people that count in children's lives, helping to keep the Bible alive for many generations to come. Campaign organisers are talking with children's authors to release print adaptations of biblical stories, and new apps for iPads and other tablet devices are also being planned. The campaign will move to capitalise on upcoming Hollywood adaptations retelling the stories of Noah and Moses. Catford said, "Blockbuster films and TV interpretation are testament to the fact that it is a book filled with exciting stories that have inspired children and adults for generations." And finally, a Christian film has picked up an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song, surprising both critics and the song's composer and singer alike. Joni Eareckson-Tada, who sings the title song from the film Alone Yet Not Alone, commented, "I'm the least likely candidate to record a song for a movie. It's amazing enough that a family-friendly movie with a Christian theme is nominated in any category for an Academy Award." Set in the 1700s, the film tells the story of two German settler girls who rely on their Christian faith after being kidnapped by Native Americans. Joni, an author and painter who has been a quadriplegic since the age of 17 following a diving accident, said she really resonated with the words. "After all, I sit down in a stand-up world and often feel alone, but of course with my faith in God, I'm never really alone. The Bible is filled with stories of God picking ill-equipped, unskilled people for places of great influence. That's how I feel."
Alone, yet not alone, not forsaken when on my own. I can lean upon His arm and be lifted up from harm. If I stumble or if I'm thrown, I'm alone, yet not alone.
Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.